Boys, let's do some dumb football questions here. We'll get back to who's the mic next week because we ran long with the Cousins discussion. We also have a couple film breakdowns we're going to do, and we're going to do a Kirk Cousins film breakdown because there are teams that are going to look at him and say, "What was he like?" Right at the end there, was he playing at a high level? And so we'll do a Cousins film breakdown on the YouTube channel. But dumb football questions, keep submitting these via the YouTube comment section. We try to stockpile as many as we can. There are no truly dumb football questions. This is the point of the segment, so don't be ashamed here. We'll start with this one from Mr. O'Shea. What are your thoughts on these expert all-22 gurus and creators breaking down film on the internet when they most likely have not played or coached at a high level? In my opinion, you can tell by the way they speak about the game when they break down film that they truly have zero. There's a lot of all-22 scouting gurus out there on the internet. What do you guys think of them?
Go ahead, Jay. I enjoy the fact that more people are getting involved and more people are interested in learning about the All-22 and learning about what true football is, which is the end zone cut. The end zone cut is true football. Like, when you watch how things develop from behind and how things work, I appreciate that you want to do that. I will know within the first 10 seconds of a video if someone knows what they're talking about or they're just completely full of shit. And usually it's when they're talking about like a certain technique or there's certain alignments or a front, and you're like, that's wrong. But I do think that, hey, good on you, man. You're trying. You're doing your best. It's when you start attacking players for missed assignments and you're completely off basis, that's the only time I usually get a little upset. And I'm like, you have no clue what you're talking about. Like, don't be like, this guy right here, circle him with his stupid yellow highlighter. Like, he screwed this whole thing up. And it's like, no. You don't know. That's not the case. Like, you can try and teach and be like, I think this is what happened and here's what happened. But when you start attacking players because you know what happened and you don't, that's when I'm just like, you're an idiot. Stop talking.
I'm with Jay. I think it's great that a lot of people are doing it. I think a lot of offensive linemen are getting a lot more recognition now, and people are trying to break down their film, which I really appreciate. Like Baldy, I think Baldy's trying to go out there and really hammer home a lot of the dude. I love it. I think it's great. But Baldy plays
the spoon. He has like a spoon that he's doing.
Dude, you can tell the guys that played and the guys that haven't. And like Jay said, it's kind of funny to listen sometimes because people will blame somebody on the play. Like, wait a minute, that guy had nothing to do with the fucking what? No, the center just totally re-ID'd that wrong. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You get a little upset, but at the same time, it's like Jay said. I think it's cool that people are doing a lot more of it. I see it all the time. I think some of it is right, some of it's wrong, and I think that's where the fans get kind of misled, is that they're listening to the wrong person at times, and they're hearing somebody say, oh, this guy messed it up, so then all of a sudden in their mind, they're like, oh, this guy sucks. It's like, that guy had nothing to do with this. The quarterback should have killed it, or he should have threw it hot, or the center should have done this, or whatever it is. But that's the one thing why I don't like PFF, is because it's given so much credit, yet they don't know what's being said behind closed doors. Like, everybody gives PFF all the credit in the world. They are the greatest site at ranking. How the fuck do you know how that coach wanted that blocked? How do you know that they didn't want to gut that backside? You don't know. Like, we used to have tons of checks in the play. Like, this will be juicy. Let's make it like this. And constantly people will be like, man, you don't have a good grade on PFF. And you're like, fucking gives a shit. My coaches say I'm kicking the shit out of people. My GM just gave me a hug and he doesn't even like me. Like, what are you talking about? That's why it drives me nuts sometimes when people talk about that kind of stuff.
But don't you think, like, PFF is I hear what you're saying, and on some level, like, yeah, you need more context for why something
you
went
need
wrong.
A lot more, especially for the fact that people upstairs are listening to it and reading it. It's like, why are you guys you have the master sheet downstairs. You could just go ask the coach, hey, how are these guys playing? Let's break down some film. Let me do it with the guy who's in charge of this whole fucking thing.
But don't you think at the end of the day, dude, like, if I give you, so however their process played out, here are the top 5 offensive tackles according to PFF last year. Would you fight this list? Penei Sewell, Trent Williams, Jordan Mailata, Tyron Smith, Tristan Wirfs.
No. But I could have said that without having to look at PFF. I could have given you all 5 of those fucking guys without having to look at it. Why? I mean,
but
why
you're not. But you're not watching every
like
single snap of every game, though. That's what they're like. To me, that's the value. It might not be perfect, but a guy like me, whether I matter or not,
I never said it was.
Know that
No,
Taylor Decker is having a great season. If not for if I'm just an idiot watching 4 Lions games on national TV, I might not know that Taylor Decker had a great season compared
Let's
to.
be honest. Not a lot of people are like, is Taylor Decker having a great season? Like, that's not something that's important. I think that if it comes to the skill positions, there's stuff that people look at. But I'm saying I just don't like that it has so much credibility with everybody, including administration, which is a little bit.
It is taken as gospel, 100%.
Yeah, I don't like
because
it.
by the way, there's nobody else. There's nobody else in the football community trying to contextualize which guard is better than the other guard. There's no other place to go.
I mean,
for that.
I just don't. I don't love how Chris Collinsworth can use it on Sunday Night Football. And
with a number next to a player on the intro.
My name,
So you know if he's good or bad.
and it's like 31st of 32nd guard, and
How about when they don't even
everyone's
have
gonna be
one?
like trash, 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 trash. Like before the game's even started, they're just immediately like, "Well, this guy sucks," and then they just hamper on it.
Hey, when you don't have a grade, that's the worst. You're like, oh God, he's not even a starter.
Yeah,
It does.
like-
It puts a bad thought
But, like,
in your mind.
I even find myself doing it when I'm watching the DBs, and it's like 132nd of 145th corner. I'm like, oh, this dude must be ass, right? I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know
That
anything
guy's got
about
a
it.
family, man. No, he
Yes,
sucks.
it's like no. And according to PFF, he's terrible. So now in my mind, he sucks. That's
sucks.
just part of it, and it's honestly brilliant. Like Collinsworth is a genius for.
He's
for
making
getting
hand over
this
fist
and doing this and being able to integrate it in on Sunday Night Football and how important it's come and all these things. But I agree with Boone. I just don't appreciate the fact of how much gospel truth it's taken and the narratives in which it can spin a fan base up in.
Yes, which is scary because it could get a fan base against the team quickly, and the team's like, wait a minute, this guy's playing great. How do we counter PFF?
You have to
We
remember,
can't.
the only person the owner is afraid of are the fans.
Oh, there's no question.
Like
or the media.
The owner's not afraid of the GM. The owner's not afraid of the coaches. He's not afraid of the players. The only people that make the owner slightly nervous are the fans. And so if the fans spin themselves up into some tizzy about a player,
A PFF
or about
rage.
a PFF rage,
Yeah.
and like all of a sudden it becomes making noise, and I'm tired of watching this guy. I don't want to see this dude on Sundays anymore in my stadium. I'm not buying season tickets. Bouncing. See you later, pal.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy what the media can do. And my agent told me that too a long time ago. They got way more ink than you got breath, dude. Don't you dare get into it with them.
So true.
He used to tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
Brody,
Respect
you're running out of
us.
breath. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm good. I
He
take
who
a
holds the
breath.
pen last. That's what my agent said. Hey, he who holds the pen last will get the last word.
Scary, dude. It's scary.
Let's see what else we got for dumb football questions. Let's go to Steven Shannon, who says, you know what? I respect this question. We do a lot of this. We explain this on the film breakdowns, but he wants to know, why do offensive linemen back up when they're pass blocking? You can't go downfield, but if you engage at the line of scrimmage, wouldn't the quarterback hypothetically have more room if the defender beats the block? He'd have further to go to get the quarterback.
You know what?
Ideally, yes.
That sounds fabulous in the perfect world, but we are not that fucking athletic at all. Listen, this is a great question. We have a bunch of different sets. And it's funny because we were actually just going over this set in the gym yesterday, Jay. And we call that a jump set. And when you jump set somebody, it's a fight right now. You can't lose with your hands or your feet, and you better be ready to ride that fucking bull. Like, you're going to ride for the full 8 seconds, and it's going to be very long. There is a time and a place to jump. The ball's coming out quick. We want to get hands down, play action. We want to fake like we're running the ball. You have to come off the ball a little bit. You have to sell a little bit more to get those linebackers to suck. But most of the time, we're coming off the ball because something's going to happen. Either a blitz is coming, a twist is coming, or technically, I'm just not in good position right now, so I need to find myself in good position. Getting off the ball is what I call time and space. The more space you have, the more time you have to see what's going on, the more you can get yourself in a better position. Ideally, on third down, we're always off the ball. Like we constantly preach to the rookies in the gym. When you are on third down, you need to get off the ball because that's when the twists are coming. That's when the picks are coming. That's when the blitzes are coming. And guess what? Those safeties are so good now, they're going to rock and roll. And if you jump a guy and you guess wrong, you fuck 4 other guys on the offensive line. They don't understand that initially. So then we have to go into twist drill pretty quickly. And then they're like, okay, I get it. If I jump this guy, I'm going to get picked from over here. I'm like, correct. But if you come off the ball, instead of getting picked on your hip, now he's going to flash in front of your face. And you're going to see him and you'll grab him or you'll have a better chance to punch him. I'm not saying there's not a good time to jump set people because a jump set, if you can jump set people and you're good at it, and it's hard to be good at a jump
Joe
set.
Thuney.
Dude, you have to have great feet and your hands have to be on it. And you're just constantly thinking, because when you're coming off the ball, you have a little bit more time to settle. You're not as panicked in your mind. You're kind of like, okay, this is my guy. This is where I'm going. I'm going to strike right now. But when you jump set, you have basically started the lawnmower like, fuck you, dude. I'm in your face right now. What do you got? And if you're not ready, they can hit a counter quickly. They can hit a bull rush quickly. Like, it's a lot to it. There are a couple of clients that I have that love jump setting. And at times I'm like, you have to get off the ball, Bubba. You got to get back a little bit. They love to jump. Not against it, but there's a time and a place for that. And because if you miss, you're screwing your quarterback now. But two, even if you catch it right, it's a long block. And these dudes are very heavy, and they're punching the shit out of you, and they have their hands in your face. And you're like, just throw the fucking ball. Just get rid of it. And then all of a sudden you get picked out of nowhere, and you're like, fuck. Coach is going to get me on the sidelines. He told me not to jump him on this down. Jay, you were there. What are you doing? You just get on a roll. Nobody's can stop you. I was sorry, Tony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything Boone said. It's a lot of it is just getting ourselves in better position for the fight. If you were to just pick the fight for us, a lot of times on the line of scrimmage, we're out leveraged. They have better angles, like all that stuff. We have to get ourselves off the ball to just put ourselves in a better position for the fight. That's really what it comes down to is we have an advantage of knowing the snap count, right? We have a disadvantage of being usually fatter and slower, but usually stronger, sometimes, right? So it's like using, okay, how do we make this a fair fight? Try and get to my spot quicker than you by going backwards and putting myself in good body position, and then now we fight for 2.5 seconds. Versus if you just said ready, break, and fought on the line of scrimmage every play, you're going to lose a lot of those times just based off of sheer athleticism and body positioning.
Aren't you going to get more tired too? Like you're going to be engaged for like 2 or 3 times as long over the course of a full
You're
game.
going to be in it. Yeah. And your mind is
right?
constantly thinking, because when you jump somebody, your first thought should be get on him, and your second one is where is he going? Because from there, you've basically, if you've done it right, you're forcing him outside. But a lot of guys go nose to nose now, and then so it becomes this 3-way go, and it's, dude, honestly, mentally by halftime, you're like, okay, I'm good. I need to get off the ball. This is too much thinking. I'm in a panic world the entire game. And that's when you start being like, all right, I'm going to come off the ball more. And it slows everybody down. It's just a great equalizer for us.
All right, here's our last dumb football question, boys, from Otto. He says, is there any limit to what a team owner can give to a player as a signing bonus? Well, his second part is that doesn't count against the cap. Can an owner just dig in and pay whatever to keep a player? Well, everything hits the cap at some point.
Right.
But to the first
you can't
part
even
of
get
that
paid
question,
off the field.
So so just a signing bonus would get prorated throughout the duration of the contract. So
correct.
If you give a guy a $50 million signing bonus and he signs a 5-year contract, it would be 10 across the board.
Correct.
But is there a limit to, because signing bonuses are cash, right? So if you've got an owner that's just rich with cash, you could give in theory, you could give a guy whatever you want for a signing bonus, right?
That's a great point. And that was one of the things that as a PA we always talked about, was why we never got fully guaranteed contracts, is because there is a clause in the CBA that tells the owners that if you fully guarantee something in the contract, you have to write that check to 345 Park Avenue and you have to deposit it in an escrow bank. So basically when Kirk Cousins got $90 million guaranteed, the Wilfs had to write a check for $90 million, put it in escrow in case the NFL were to ever collapse. That money is truly fully guaranteed. That's the one thing nobody knows. And so every year at the PA, we would constantly be like, how do we get rid of this fucking rule? And because the minute you would go in and go, hey, we want fully guaranteed, they'd be like, I just can't do that. I just don't want to write a check for $200 million and put it in the bank because that's my money and I'd rather watch it grow. And so you'd be like, fuck, that's a great point. Yeah. I wouldn't want to put $200 million in the bank either. I get it. Like, I understand. So forever we were constantly like, how do we get away with this? And so obviously the owners are extremely smart. That was put in when the NFL was
billionaires,
right? Like the billionaires, you don't want to know how they fight. They're fucking insane. But when you talk about like when the league started, these guys were real dudes. Like they were worried it was going to collapse, and that's why they put this in. And so they've kind of had this saving grace forever, the funding rule. Hey, we don't want to put that money in there. So technically, you could spend $100 million on someone's signing bonus if you wanted. You just have to put that money up into a bank and say, hey, it's not mine anymore. It's all yours. And that's the one thing that keeps them from doing it. How much would you want to give somebody a signing bonus? If you're going over $50 million over a signing bonus, shit's getting crazy.
I mean, I mean, the other piece of the signing bonus is there's really very little ability of the team to try and get that money back if it doesn't work out, right? Like if you sign a guy to a 7-year, $60 million contract and you give him $70 million up front or $100 million up front, and in 3 years it's not working out, you ain't getting that money back.
Right.
Unless he retires or there's some like signings bonus forfeiture that comes into play, and I don't need to get into the weeds on that because that's a whole different equation and whatnot. But like the signing bonus is a lot of like your upfront guarantees for the first couple of years, because after that, if you start making like that huge signing bonus, that's gonna be guaranteed down the road a long ways too. And if things aren't working out, then you ain't getting any of that money back.
And for teams, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the way that teams create cap space in the short term. So like this year, there's like the Saints are always like $50 million over the cap, right?
They're 90.
They're 90 over now.
Dude. Well, me and Johnny were looking at it last night.
Corey Linsley for the Chargers just did this. I was reading this morning as I was making my coffee. I believe Corey Linsley for the Chargers was owed $11 million this year, or 11.5.
Like a base, his base?
As his base against the cap was going to be 11.5 this year. He just took a restructuring of $10.5 million in signing bonus up front to now his cap hit against the team this year is minimum salary.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So you can
they basically just rolled it right over. Yeah.
So you can't a signing
pay
bonus
for the sins of the father and kick that can down the road and just give him all his money up front so that it doesn't count against your cap this year.
So teams can take someone's base salary and they can convert as much of it as they want to a bonus and prorate it over the duration of the contract. So like
correct.
If you have a quarterback, and this is where there's all kinds of teams that are in this boat. The Chiefs did this the first year of Patrick Mahomes' new contract a few years ago. Said, okay, well we can either have his $40 million cap hit the books this year, and then we're kind of strapped to find new players in free agency, or we can convert $30 million of his $35 million base to a signing bonus, spread it out over the length of the contract, and get like $25 million in relief. It's super complicated and in the weeds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just called restructuring.
But all it does, it's called restructuring. There's a lot of fancy names for it. Just think of it as kicking the can down the road.
You're fucked eventually. Look at the Saints.
It eventually all comes back Wolf of Wall Street style. The chickens come home to roost.
Well, that's the Cousins contract, dude.
That's
like,
the Cousins.
People are like, oh, look, his cap hit was only $21 million last year. He got the full amount of money. The accounting department kicked 28.5 into a void year in 2024 so that they could kick the can down the road and deal with it later, right?
Correct.
Well, that's
because now even if you cut Kirk Cousins, you're still cutting.
You're
him
paying
back.
Yeah.
Like that money is spent. Like it's not. It is spent. Like it's like Boone said. It's in an account. It might as well not even exist to you.
You don't even have it.
Wilfs. Like, and that's what these teams will do this at times because they feel like they're in their Super Bowl window, or they feel like we have lightning in a bottle, and so we have to keep this team together. Kick the can down the road. Kick the can down the road. And what usually happens is that GM eventually gets fired and moves on, and then the new GM comes in and takes over, and they're like, "Here's our books." And they open up the books, and they're like, "This dude hasn't been on the team for like 3 years."
Yeah,
and they're like,
crazy.
still paying
Who's
him.
been doing these books? We let Boone take over.
Well, the best part is I can remember every year, and Boone, this is kind of not a shot at you, but kind of. I can remember every year the PA would come in and they put up the pie chart of who's getting paid in the rooms, right? And it's like this percent goes here, this percent goes here. And I can remember in 2017, the PA came in and they were like, yeah, see here, this is your dead money cap. And it like came out of like where it was coming from the old line room. And everyone was like, Alex, missed that guy, right? Because they released Alex, but there's a bunch of dead money cap in there.
A lot of money.
But that's how it goes. And that's why teams are like, why are these guys so bad? It's like, well, how many players are they paying that aren't on their team anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Packers, didn't the Packers have all of that Aaron Rodgers dead? They had like $50 million in Aaron Rodgers dead money, and they still made the playoffs.
Look at the Saints. They're in dead money from Drew Brees era. I'm not even kidding. That just kicked the can down the road for 10 fucking years. Here's my bigger question, and this is my dumb football question. What's going to happen when they're not under the cap? Because I don't know how you find $80 million. I don't know how
You
many
start
fucking players.
axing dudes.
Dude, you're going to have to axe everybody. You're literally like, free agents are like, hey, what do you got? They're like, don't even come over here, dude. You got nothing for us. Dude, I feel bad for Dennis Allen. He inherited a fucked up problem, and it's no money. And
Well,
when you
it's funny.
have
The,
no
the
money,
Saints only have $2 million in dead money for 2024, so they need to.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you.
active
They
roster
need to
is the
axe
problem now.
$80
Their
million.
active roster, yeah.
Johnny
There's-
goes, what happens if they're over? I go, you don't want to know, dude. Like the
Yeah.
fucking Roger Goodell gets on his PJ and comes out to see you, and he's like, hey, did you see these fucking books? Because I've seen them. You want to
I
own
did
this
see the
team?
cap's going up like $50 million this year, though. Maybe
Yeah, what did they
closer.
say?
It's
gonna be
going.
closer
Well,
to 250.
it's going up 10 million to 250. It was 240.
It always goes up
last
10 a
year.
year.
230.
It's
Was
gone
it
up
230?
10.
No, I thought it was
every
like
fucking-
225.
Here, let's
I
look.
No,
thought
at
I
it.
think
I
I
thought
thought it was
it was
238 last year or something.
I thought it was 225. I don't know. I should know this.
He's our agent, our resident agent.
I don't know
NFL
if
cap
players
by
free.
year. It was 224, 225 last year.
Yeah, and I saw it was
Florio
projected
projects
like
it to be close to 250, so it'll be up like
so
25
I
million.
thought it was gonna be like a 25. Okay, so I wasn't 50. I thought it was gonna be a substantial.
Even that,
Like
you're
that's
fucked.
a big. No, you're still totally toast.
Dude.
But that's a substantial amount of.
Here's
cap
what's
jump
crazy.
in one
When
year.
you guys played in the heart of your time, which was, let's call it 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, Boone, go back 9, 10 years.
Yeah, I think it was like 180 when I was there.
The
Maybe
cap
less.
has gone up $100 million in the last 9 years.
yeah.
It's
A lot of it's
one
because of the rookie
wild.
contracts. A lot of
Yeah.
it's, I mean, when Boone and I, when I came in the league, rookie in 2014, rookie minimum was $420,000. Right? Great money. Don't get me wrong. Very high. Rookies walking into the league this year are making $750. Right? So the rookie scale contracts have doubled. Right? As a minimum salary is in the old CBA under pre 20
when I was in there,
like
Sam,
2020. Yeah, when I was in my 6th year, my minimum salary was like 910. Now, dudes are rookie contracts. You're making over $1 million in your 3rd year,
it's crazy.
right? So like the rookie salaries have gone up, and so if that was the case, you had to bump the salary cap up like that, or else there's no way you could pay these rookies like you are now.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the NFL, dude. It's the most growing business in the world. Like every year, they're continually getting
Thanks,
bigger,
Taylor.
better. Like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she had something to do with this salary cap.
Dude,
Like, I'm
she
not
brought
even
in,
kidding.
like, $330
If you guys
million.
don't thank her for getting fucking more money, you should be sorry for yourself.
It's
Like, I'm
funny,
not
here's
even kidding.
The cap was projected to be like 243 million.
And now it's 250.
Now it's 250.
Even if $7 million by 31 teams, it's $210 million, dude. That she's fucking crushing for
It's a
the
love
NFL.
story. It's an NFL
That,
love
hey,
story, you guys.
We all kind of joked about it, but the dudes in the league right now, someone's going to get paid off Taylor Swift, and they don't even know it. They don't even
100%.
fucking know, bro.